Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Quest for You, where we talk about life, the things that drive us, motivate us, and make us better. And today I want to share something a little bit personal with you. I've done so lately a few times. And today, I'm sharing my new adventure. And if you have been listening for a while, you probably know quite a bit about me. Maybe more than some of my closer friends, because I do share a lot with you. And you probably would agree that I'm a pretty driven person. But you may not think of me as a creature of habit. I love my routines and schedules, and I get very uncomfortable when I get thrown out of them. Combine drive with routine. What you get is someone who's in it for the long run. When I start something, and let me tell you, I rarely start something, then I usually commit to it and pursue it relentlessly. And when I'm unable to follow through, it bothers me like an itch in the middle of my back that I cannot reach. My recent example of this is French, which I started to learn in preparation for my last Europe trip 2 years ago, where I spent over a week in a tiny remote village in the south of France, and where I wanted to order my café and croissant by myself every morning. And I did, but that was about all I could do. After the trip, I really was inspired to continue, but then Quest for You came into my forefront, and I was simply not able to keep up. It still bothers me, and I still want to learn it, but it has to sit on the back burner for now. So I haven't begun anything major lately. I have my hands full with my podcast and my exercise schedule, which is another solid part of my life that I do not compromise on. And there's skiing, but it's seasonal, restricted to the time of the year when we have enough snow, and hoping that it coincides with when I can make time, either to drive the 3 hours up to Tahoe or to fly to Colorado for a weekend. Skiing is amazing and I love it, but it's more of a vacation for me. It's expensive, it's not easily accessible, and I enjoy it while I can, not knowing when I'll be able to do it next. But recently, something new has come along in my life that I had never considered, didn't know anything about, and was not even interested in. And that is rock climbing. A friend from the gym introduced me. He saw how strong and dedicated I am and thought that I might like it. I have to be honest, I was not convinced. What's appealing about hanging on for dear life to a rock when I can do more exciting things with my time? I was rather scared, but I didn't want to appear weak, especially after all these compliments he'd just given me. The day he took me out on a rock, I still thought, this is crazy. Never in my entire thinking did it strike me that I would enjoy this, nor that I could even do it. But his belief in me was stronger, and he was right. I was able to climb, and, even more interesting, I enjoyed it. And since that first day, I cannot stop to think about climbing. It's as if I met a special person that has left a long-lasting impression, and that I cannot wait to see again. Climbing is special, like nothing else I have ever done. It's more physical than any sport I know. It's not like running or swimming where you push, and then stop when you're tired. It's closer to skiing, where a run can appear too steep to ski down. But once you navigate it, maybe fall a couple of times, you can make it. Climbing is the most physical, challenging task I've done, as far as I can remember, maybe with the exception of moving. Climbing is not a straight shot to the top. There are many areas where you pause, and you don't know how to make it one more step. You stare at the rock, you search for holds, and then you search within for strength and courage to go with the plan you just decided on. And sometimes you do hang on for dear life, unable to find a good hand or foothold. Luckily, there's always a harness that holds you, but nobody wants to slip and take a swing. It's harder to get back on, and it expends valuable energy. There's no turning back. walking back home, or getting out of the pool, or taking an easy run downhill. Now, if you're with someone who leads you, they can get you down. That's what they're trained to do, but it's quite a bit more complicated. So you have to try to get to the top. And so you put your entire body into each move. It's amazing how much is involved. You have to think about proper foot placement, how to best turn, how to hold your hands. And you're pushing your entire body up a mountain without any assistance other than some grippy climbing shoes. It's never monotonous like swimming, where you use the same moves to get you moving forward. There are some basic techniques for climbing, but once you are on the face of the rock, every step is a little different depending on the condition you face. The level of awareness you need to have is incomparable. Most sports I can tune out, listen to podcasts, or go through the motions, not in climbing. Every wrong step could mean a fall or an injury. This makes climbing more mentally engaging than anything I know. Every move requires careful thought. Yes, there are some moves you just make. You go for it. Your hand and footholds seem good, so you go. But most of the time, you need to carefully look at everything in front of you and touch and feel your way into a good position. It's not a race. It always takes longer than I first think, and it always is harder than it looks. What appear to be nice holds from below are scary little indentions in the rock that do not appear to be able to hold your entire body weight. And that's where the mental aspect comes in. It's a constant internal battle. Should I go for this? Is this the best hold? Where will I put my left foot after I placed my right one? The most incredible part is this. There's no time to think about what's for dinner or to worry about your next presentation at work. You are in the moment. You cannot be anywhere else than this very moment, thinking about your next steps. So it's mentally engaging, but it can also be mentally challenging. Looking up and seeing how much is left, while acknowledging that your body is getting weaker. There is the realization that you are very small against this huge mountain. That night might come and you're still hanging there. That you may not find a way to get out of the current spot. And after all these worries go through your mind, you push yourself to get going. The word that always crosses my mind when I'm in a tough spot is resourcefulness. Figure it out, Janine, I tell myself. And that's the same thing my friend yells down at me when I tell him I'm stuck. It's a huge mental battle with yourself. You feel stuck, but at the same time you know there must be a way through this. This mental aspect makes it emotionally engaging, like no other sport. The level of presence and awareness needed, the character you have to demonstrate to yourself, the courage you need to summon to take that next step, to rely on your body to hold you, your feet to be strong and your fingers locked in, the determination to push forward, to not lose hope and give up, but to try one more time. All the fancy words you and I learned in some leadership training way back when. Maybe that decorated your office wall at some point as a nice poster. Or there's spread all over the self-help books that have accumulated in your home or work office. Here, they come out, and here, on the mountain, is when they take on a real meaning. Because it's you and the mountain. But it's really you and you. You bringing everything out in yourself to conquer something that you don't even know you can conquer. It's pulling on resources you didn't know you had. And this is highly emotional. It feels amazing when you got past the crux, which is the term used for the hardest part of the route. But it can also be incredibly devastating when you hang on, unable to see a way to move forward. This happened to me yesterday on a small crag here in Berkeley. I couldn't find a way to get past a certain spot. It frustrated me immensely. It's an emotional battle with yourself, your inner will, and your character. It all comes out on the face of a mountain. It's like nothing else I've ever done. So I'm sharing all this with you, not because I want you to try mountain climbing. I'm sharing it because I want you to try something else, like I did, something new. I have fallen in love with something that someone I barely knew introduced me to on a weekday evening when I really felt like going home and just doing what I always do. Instead, I went along. I thought, fine, let's try it. And I have found so much more than I could ever imagine. I found a way to use my body that I have been training inside of gyms for years. I'm finally putting all those muscles to use. I found more of myself, more strength than I thought I had, more willpower to finish something that I never thought would mean anything to me. I found an activity that brings me into nature where I love to be. And more than that, it allows me access to places that the majority of the people in this world will never see in person. All my life, I've always loved the view from the top. That's why I live in an apartment on the top floor with a view. The view has always been important to me. Anywhere I go, when I book a hotel room, I always ask for the top floor. Climbing combines so much of what I love. And all three aspects combined, physical, mental, and emotional, makes it an amazing experience. Sure, there are chemicals involved, a cortisol rush when you reach the top, but the rush is not like any other. I have accomplished a lot in my life, but nothing has ever felt so amazing than reaching the top of a mountain that you just climbed yourself. So, I do want to encourage you. Don't dismiss the next adventure you're invited to. Give it a try. You don't have much to lose, but you have so much to gain. And I hope my example of climbing illustrated that. Never in this world did I expect to find so much in this. And one more thing that I didn't mention, but you may have guessed it. Happiness. Pure bliss. Despite the sweat, the bruises, the sore fingertips, and the broken nails, I'm happy when I climb and for days afterwards. And I cannot wait to get back out. So go out and give things a shot. Sometimes there is a reason people and activities come our way. You can always say no thank you next time, but the first time, try it, give it a shot, and go with the flow. Much love, my friends.